जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोप कुमाराय Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, Chapter entitled The Prayers of the Personified Vedas, and we're discussing text 27 today. Tava pariye charanti akhila sattva niketataya ta uta pada kramanti avignaya kshuro nirittehe. Okay, we'll go slow. Okay. Parivayase pashun iva gira vibudhan apitamsa त्वयिकृत सौहृदा खलु पुनन्ति न ये विमुखः तव परे ये चरन्ति अखिल सत्व निकेततया तौ तपदाक्रमन्ति अविघ्नया शिरो निरिक्तेः. परिवयसे पशुनिव गिरा विबुधा न पीता त्वयि कृतः सुहृदा खलु पुनन्ति न ये विमुखः. So what do you do? Okay. Recitation is going to be difficult maybe, so I'll just move to the word by word translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. We'll read the purport and we'll try to understand paragraph. We'll go paragraph by paragraph. Okay, word by word meaning. Tava, you. Pariye charanti, who worship. Akhila, of all. Sattva, created entities. Niketataya, as the shelter. Te, they. Uta, simply. Pada, with their feet. Akramanti, step upon. Avigganaya, disregarding. Shiraha, the head. Hirittehe, of death. Parivayase, you tie up. Pashun eva, like animals. Gira, with your words of the Vedas. Nibudham, wise. Api, even. Tam, them. Twai, to whom. Krita, those who have made. Sahurdaha, friendship. Khalu, indeed. Punanti, purify. No, not. Ye, who. Vimukhaha, inimical. Translation. The devotees who worship you as the shelter of all beings disregard death and place their feet on his head. But with the words of the Vedas, you bind the non-devotees like animals, though they may be vastly learned scholars. It is your affectionate devotees who can purify themselves and others, not those who are inimical to you. Purport. The personified Vedas have now set aside the erroneous philosophies of several contending schools. The Asat Utpatti Vad of the Vaishishikas, who presume a material source of creation. The Sad Vinashavada of the Nyayikas, who would deprive the liberated soul of consciousness. The Sagunatva Bhedavad of the Vaisankhya's, who isolate the soul from all his apparent qualities. The Vipanavad of the Mimamsakas, who condemn the soul to eternal involvement in the mundane commerce of karma. And the Vivartavad of the Mayavadis, who denigrate the soul's real life in this world as a hallucination. Having rejected all these ideas, the personified Vedas now present the philosophy of devotional service, Paricharya Vada. Okay, let us discuss. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamaiham Dudati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shriyata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namao Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम् हरे कृष्ण. So we are into the 87th chapter of the 10th canto. Right? This towards the last three chapters now of the 10th canto. And this chapter represents the prayers by the personified Vedas, glorifying the personal and impersonal aspects of Lord Narayan. So the followers of Srila Prabhupada, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada have given big long purports like we see in today's, for today's verse also. The verse is big and the purport also is like 2 pages. What they're trying to do is they have Srila Prabhupada disciples who have given the purports. Vidyanand Maharaj, then Gopi Parandhan Prabhu, Jayadvat Maharaj, who were involved with this. They say that we would keep the way Srila Prabhupada would keep the purports of the previous acharyas. Prabhupada had a huge books that Prabhupada would carry in Bengali and Bhagavatam, in Sanskrit of different acharyas, and Prabhupada would pick up from there. And after Prabhupada could not give the purports after the 13th chapter, Srila Prabhupada disciples continued, and they would again keep the same purports of previous acharyas, and they have given it. Now, much technical aspect that Prabhupada may have kind of missed sometimes. Everything is here. So all that's why when we hear so many vada, what does vada mean? Vada simply means debate, or vada could also mean a thought that one wants to put. Because when you have a thing or a situation, you can have different perspectives, different people looking at a particular thing, object, situation. Everyone has their perspectives. Like Arjuna, before, at the beginning of the battlefield, Arjuna had his perspective. And when most people read that perspective, in India there are a class of people who say Krishna is a warmonger. Why? He's part of American deep state or something. Not like that. They say even at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, war could have been stopped. Arjuna was going to go away. He was not going to remain on the battle. He decided, I want to go. But it was Krishna who made Arjuna stop there and continue to fight the war. Right? Now, can anybody have this perspective also? Yeah, they are looking at that same incident in a different way. They forget that Krishna did try to stop the war. He went as a peace messenger. He sent Kunti to Karna. He himself went to Karna to convince him. They don't look at that part. Right? So, what's happening here is in today's verse, I'll go fast into that verse. Uh, I wanted to speak something on the chapter, the summary. What's happening is Vedas, the personified Vedas who are praying here, they're saying that there are different people, they have different ways of looking at things. Go to the verse now. Yeah. So the personified Vedas have now set aside the erroneous philosophies of several contending schools. Right? So there are many schools of thought. Like I'm just coming from Prayag. I was there for the Kumbh Mela. I was there for a few days, and so many akhadas, and so many mathas, and so many varieties of sadhus, and so many varieties of tilaks. Sometimes a simple tilak, we put these two are like the lotus feet of Vishnu, and this is the tulsi offered on the lotus feet of Vishnu. We get we get understood, identified as Vaishnavas, right? Or Gaudiya Vaishnavas to be particular. But when you go there and you see so many varieties of tilaks, from the tilak you can understand what is the philosophy one is practicing. Right? And there could be so many philosophies. God is one. We are all souls. We are all part and parcel of God, meant to love and serve God. Truth is very simple. Right? Truth is very simple. But what happens when so many people are looking, with their spectacles, with their colored glasses, with their consciousness, so many vadas come out, so many thoughts come out. Like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the avatar for this age, he made it all the more simple. Chant Hare Krishna. You'll get the love of God. Simply chant without offenses. He made it so simple for the people of Kali Yuga. Right? But after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, very soon after that, and the six Goswamis, so many apasampradayas came up. So many deviant philosophies of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Right? One time, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, he was about to go for a shower. So he was in his gamchas. So, Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, he says, he was in his gamchas and somebody asked him a question about apasampradaya, deviant philosophies, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He sat there, right there, Bhakti Santo sat there, and there itself he gave names of 60 apasampradayas, their names in Bengali, their English equivalent, what is their deviant philosophy, and how to defeat that philosophy. 60, can you imagine? Just came out from him. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given such a simple presentation, that the souls in Kali Yuga, the conditioned souls in Kali Yuga, all the more, not a situation where they can understand also philosophy. Right? Like Sri Prabhupada, he tells at one place, Prabhupada said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussed philosophy with mainly very few people, right, and very high class intellectuals. For most people, he kept it chant Hare Krishna and be happy. What Prabhupada gave. Simply chant Hare Krishna. Why? Because, okay, I'll tell you a joke. So there are 4 ages. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Before I tell you the joke. How many of you were around when Narsingadev took avatar? Were you there? Yes or no? No. When you are souls, you must be there. And you are not yet liberated. That means you must be there. So Narsingadev came, Lord Ram appeared, Krishna, we were all there. We were all there within this Brahmanda only somewhere. We were all there. So in Satyuga, everyone would follow dharma 100%. Everyone. And what was the situation? The understanding was everything belongs to God. Nothing belongs to me. 100% God consciousness, dharma. By the time Treta Yuga came, the dharma reduced by 25%. It falls, right? So from 100, it came to 75%. What was the situation then? Those who were in Treta Yuga, they would take all their money. In Satyuga, all the money 100% belongs to God. That's the understanding. In Treta Yuga, they would take their money on the ground, right? Draw a circle on the ground, then throw their money in the air. Right? Whatever falls within the circle belongs to God. If anything falls outside the circle, belongs to me. In Dwapar Yuga, people would take now from 100 to 75, 75 to only 50% it has remained. In Dwapar Yuga, people would take their money out, would stand on the ground, draw a line, and then throw their money in the air. Whatever falls on the right side belongs to God, whatever falls on the left belongs to me. Now, which age is remaining out of the four? Which we are in. From 100 to 75, from 75 to 50, and now only 25% dharma is remaining. Now, what do people in Kali Yuga do? They take all their money, go to the ground, right? And they throw their money in the air. Whatever God can catch belongs to Him. Whatever falls to the ground belongs to me. That's the level of souls. Right? So our Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he very famously says that we are those backbenchers in the class of spirituality which could not pass through the filter of time and mercy. Time passed by, so much mercy came in, and we have remained. And what happens in Kali Yuga? There are more people presenting their own philosophies and their own understanding rather than following the straight path. That's why Krishna says in the Gita, I am the originator of Dharma. I am the protector of Dharma. And how does Dharma flow? It flows by the medium of Parampara. Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajrishayo Viduhu Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nashtah Parantapaha. Time and again, because of the influence of time factor, Kale Neha Mahata, very powerful time factor. What happens? The pure knowledge they deviate, and because of that deviation, Krishna appears. Sambhavami yuge yuge. I appear myself, or I send my empowered representatives to straighten it. Right? So, so many arguments are being presented here. Asad Utpattivad, Sad Vinashavad, or Saguna Bhedavad. All these Vadas, these arguments are nothing but people's perspective. You know, great knowledgeable people, right? And but they have their colored consciousness. Like Keshav Kashmiri, he came to Mayapur after having defeated so many, right? He defeated so many people, right? Great intellectuals. He came to Mayapur, and everyone in the Mayapur circle was shivering. Oh, Keshav Kashmiri is here, right? Big logicians and panditas there. And all of them decided, let us put Nimai Pandit in front. Nimai was a 16-year-old boy, 11 actually. Put him in front. If Nimai can defeat Keshav Kashmiri, then we will say, Arey, hamare gaon ka bachcha. The kid in our village, he could defeat. We didn't have to come into the ring also. But if he gets defeated, we'll say, oh, he defeated a small boy and went away. Right? And my Pandit in school, he's simply teaching some kids. And that's where Keshav Kashmiri enters. And he says, I have heard of your name. Everybody start telling me, no debate with you. I'm ready to debate. Please come. And what does Nimai Pandit tell him? He simply puts a challenge in front of him. This is Ganga. This is Ganga flowing here. You recite some verses in the honor of Mother Ganga. Let us see what is good or what is bad about it. Keshav Kashmiri cannot accept it. He said, what? You feel a Pandit like me? Right? You will find faults in me. And just as Ganga is continuously flowing from Keshav Kashmiri's mouth, right at that time, 100 novel verses, never, he also had never, penned down, simply came out of him. 100 verses, Sanskrit, pure Sanskrit verses, glorifying Mother Ganga. And Keshav Kashmiri and all the students and even Nimai Pandit was very happy. Wow, what knowledge you have. And then Nimai Pandit said, let us discuss something, some good qualities and the bad qualities of your poetry. Keshav Kashmiri could not have it. What? What do you think? I'm Keshav Kashmiri. Saraswati sits on my tongue. Right? And Nimai said, it's Sanskrit and it's our intelligence. We are trying to put our best. And Nimai Pandit found out mistakes. And exact verse numbers he gave. In this verse number, in this part of your Sanskrit, this is where the mistake was. And Keshav Kashmiri's question was, how could you remember the verses that I recited? Nimai Pandit said, the same Saraswati who has given you knowledge and capacity to pen those verses and recite them, same Saraswati has given me intelligence to be able to remember that. And when the mistakes were brought out, Keshav Kashmiri could not have it. Right? And especially there you find Nimai Pandit also tells students, don't laugh. Don't laugh at him. Right? You should not laugh. He's full of pride because of knowledge. And then he goes away, and in the night Saraswati comes in his dream. After he has prayed to Saraswati, why did you do this? I'm Keshav Kashmiri, Digvijay Pandit. Everybody I have defeated. Small 16-year-old boy could defeat me today. And Saraswati in the dream told Keshav Kashmiri, he's my master. You're not able to identify him. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. You take shelter of him. And the next day Keshav Kashmiri comes and takes shelter of Nimai Pandit. Same Nimai Pandit. After having taken sannyas, he goes to Jagannath Puri. And the first person that he meets is Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, name Sarvabhaum means he has won over all people. Right? So in that era, during that era, sannyasis would come to Jagannath Puri to hear and learn from Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, who is a Grahastha. He was so knowledgeable, such an erudite scholar. But what was his vada? His vada was Mayavad. Everything is one. Right? And Prabhupada says, amongst Indians you go in, right, land of dharma, but Prabhupada says, lift the skin a little, Prabhupada says. It's simply Mayavad. Prabhupada says, nothing else. How do you know it's Mayavad? I one time asked my very close relative, he's in his house and in our family, he's known for worshipping for like 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening he will worship. And while the worship was going on, he was worshipping, and I asked him, you have so many devatas in your altar, you have so many you have kept. What is the meaning of all these? And he said, everything is one. I was like, what? If everything is one, then why are you worshipping them separately? Just put it one place only, ho gaya, done. No. It is ultimately I have to do it because, so what is because? I have to become that one. And I was like, what? What do you want to do, man, in life? Yeah, that's philosophy. That's how life is. I was like, taken aback. People are thinking he's a devotee. People are thinking he's a follower of dharma. But go deeper into the understanding and philosophy that they're practicing. Like one time, Times magazine, American Times magazine, somebody showed me the cover page of this Time magazine. The cover page was some police station in Andhra, right? The police is behind their desk, and in front of the desk, one couple is there, husband, wife, and there is a bucket in front of it. Right? That's the photo. I said, what? What's going on here? In the Time magazine, why is there photograph? And what was the article about? This couple were not getting a baby, their own child. They didn't have. They went to somebody, and this somebody told them, you go to a fair, a mela, right? You go to a fair, there catch a child, anybody's child you catch, and slit the throat, collect the blood in a bucket, and if you both take bath with that blood, then you will get a baby. You see what can happen? There are those who are talking about such low stuff, nothing there, right? To the point of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, and there is so much bewilderment in philosophy. Even philosophy can cause so much bewilderment. Right? Like one of our devotees in Mumbai, one brahmachari, he was invited to uh, for a seminar of uh, the the philosophy of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. A beautiful hall they had rented, and the scholars from so many universities were called in India, and they were all supposed to speak on the philosophies of the six Goswamis. And this devotee, he saw the schedule. When he entered the hall, he was given the entire day schedule. And after every 40 minutes of a presentation, there was a 10 minutes break. Different speakers were supposed to come, and 10 minutes break was there. And when he asked the organizers, why is this 10-minute break after every 40 minutes of presentation? And he was told, we need to give break for smoking. If somebody needs to smoke, they can go out and smoke. What? Philosophy of six Goswamis of Vrindavan? You understand what's going on? Right? That's what is the world. So there are people who speak philosophy. There are people who do not understand what they're speaking. So that's why I'll come to the practical stuff. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you find Sanatan Goswami glorifies Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur glorifies Sanatan Goswami. And the glorification what comes out is there are those who preach a lot, but they don't practice. And there are those who apparently practice, but they don't preach. But Sanatan Goswami tells Haridas Thakur, you are both. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accepted you as Namacharya. Right? So there will be a lot of people around who will speak a lot, who can give them a topic and they can speak for hours on any topic you give them. Right? But are they coming to pure devotional service? Are they coming to bhakti? Right? Are they, because God is eternal, the soul is eternal. What connects them is should also be eternal. There are those in India who will say, yes, you have to practice bhakti now, but then you have to go beyond that bhakti. What is the example they will give? You need to climb a wall, you use stairs. Stairs, you put a ladder, let's say ladder. You use a ladder and climb. And after you have climbed, then throw it away. Why do you need the ladder now? Bhakti also is temporary, they will say. For time being, in our conditioned stage, we need it. After we have reached the stage, then throw it off. Right? But Vishnachak Thakur gives the argument, if God is eternal, the soul is eternal, their connection also has to be eternal. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he tells Sanatan Goswami, entire philosophy can be put into three segments. Entire Vedas. Right? Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhava Arjuna. All that the Vedas talk about is some within three modes. Huh? Uh, what do you do, Arjuna? Go beyond the modes. Right? So Krishna is telling Arjuna that Vedas, yes, there is information there. What do you do? Vedas, okay, go beyond the Vedas. What does it mean? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in discussion with Sanatan Goswami clarifies there are three things. If you cannot go into details of the Vedic knowledge, whatever is remaining with us now and with all the confusion that is there about it, only three things are there. So, one time my sister who stays in Washington, who lives in Washington DC, she happened to call me and she told me that one of her friends, right, uh, she she belongs to to the family of worshippers in the Balaji temple, Tirupati Balaji temple, Tirumala in India. Right? And she used to go out to the garden with her baby, a stroller, and she would go out. One person one time, jacket and tie and everything, Christian preachers, they move about. He came and sat next to her on the bench. And he asked her, "You are from India?" She said, "Yes." "Actually, I'm interested in Hindu religion. I've heard about it, but I don't know much about it. Can you explain me a little?" And she thought, I belong to the family of the the panditas or the worshippers in I will explain her. And she started talking to him every day. He would have some query, she would answer. And one day this person came and said, "Actually, I think Hindu religion is kind of a crazy stuff." "Why crazy? Why do you think it's crazy?" And this person said, Hindus seems to be, you worship, slippers, footwear. Right? You worship footwear. We don't do worship footwear. We worship God. You can say, you worship, Murti, you worship deity. Why are you saying you worship, slippers? And he said, Bharat Maharaj, he worshipped slippers for 14 years. So your God and slippers, it seems you don't understand the difference between the two. Your slipper has become, as it knows, God is, your Ram is slipper. And she got bewildered. 14 years Bharat was worshipping. He had kept slippers like that, And how do I answer? She happened to call my sister, and my sister happened to call me, and I had to give the answer. Oh, not like that. He is understanding that I am the servant of Ram, not servant of Ram. Even Ram's slippers are worshipable to me. When I look at the slipper, I never forget my position, that I am servant of God. I am servant of Ram. It's not that, after Ram came in, after 14 years, Bharat Maharaj said, "No, I don't need you. I'm good with your slippers only." He begged Ram. When Ram asked, right, he wanted Ram to come, right, back to Ayodhya. Bharat Maharaj requested, "You come back." And Ram said, "I am not coming." So Bharat asked, "Can I get your slippers?" "For what?" "They are worshipable to me." Right? So Ramayana, which is a Sharanagati Shastra, tells us that as jivas, as souls, we are meant to be surrendered to God. We are meant to be servant of God. Right? So philosophy is very simple. God is there, I am there, and my relationship with God. So Lord Chaitanya, in discussion with Sanatana Goswami, says only three things to philosophy, if one has to understand it that way: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. Which are the three aspects of Vedas? Entire Vedic knowledge can be put into these three: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. What does Sambandha mean? Sambandha means who is God, who am I, and what is my relationship with God. That is Sambandha. Right? God is eternal, I am eternal. I must have a relationship with God. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna keeps it very simple. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manah shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Mamai amsha, that soul is my part and parcel. How? Sanatana, eternally. There was never a time that we were not part of God. Now, in the conditioned state, we have forgotten it. Yet we are connected to God. And in the liberated state, what will happen? We'll once again connect with God. We go back into our eternal position. Right? So Sambandha is there. Then next is Abhideya. I seem to have forgotten it now. My relationship with God. What do I do to revive that relationship with God? What is the process to follow? Every yuga has a certain process to follow, to practice, to revive that relationship with God. That is called Abhideya. Right? So in Satyuga, what was the process? The verse in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, Kriteyadhyayato Vishnuhu Tretayam Yajato Makhai Dvapare paricharyayam kalau tad hari sankirtanat. In Satyuga, the process was Kriteya Dhyato Vishnu. Dhruva Maharaj was sent to the forest for what? To meditate on Lord Vishnu. Meditation was the process. Dhyato Vishnu. Tretayam Yajato Makhai. In Treta Yuga, the process was Yajna, fire sacrifice. Right? That was the process. Yajna Vai Vishnu. How do you understand this change of process as per change of Yuga? Huh? Uh, in the Ramayana and other, you find Vishwamitra story comes in. Vishwamitra, what was he doing in Satyuga when when he was disturbed in his practice? What was he doing? Meditating in the forest. 60,000 years meditation was going on, and Menaka was sent by Indra to disturb him in his meditation. Right now, in Ramayana, when Vishwamitra is introduced in Ramayana, Vishwamitra is shown coming to Ayodhya to request Maharaj, Dasharath Maharaj. He comes to Ayodhya, I want Ram. He's not ready. Dasharath Maharaj says, don't take Ram away, take me. I will fight the Asuras, I will fight the Rakshasas, I will fight with all these demonic, people. No, I want Ram. Now, for what purpose did Vishwamitra request Ram? For what was the purpose now? To kill them, to protect the yajna. Now the question should come, one who was doing meditation, why is he doing yajna now? Think of it. Because in Satyuga the process was meditation. Now that Treta Yuga is there, he is performing yajna. So with the change of yuga, the process also changes. Which process? I have sambandha with God. That sambandha I have forgotten. What is the process to revive that sambandha again? So sambandha, then there is abhideya. Now question can come. I have my sambandha with God. I'm practicing the abhideya right there as per the yuga. So I said, okay, I'll complete that. Kriteya dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam yajodo mukhai, Dvapare, in Dvapar Yuga, Paricharyayam, huge temples, amazing worship, elaborate worship going on. That's why you find in Bhagavatam, right? You find Vidura's travels. There are verses how he went from so many temples. He went to so many temples. Balaramji, Mahabharata, there is detail. Which all temples, which all places he visited. And when you go on pilgrimage in India, if the guide is not able to tell you about that cave and that place, they will say Pandavas have come here. And why? Temples were there, and now these temples were broken. Right? They were broken by the invaders. Right? So Dwapare Paricharyayam, what is the process in this age? Kalautat Hari Sankirtana. The process in Kali Yuga is to the Sankirtan, the chanting of the glories of Krishna, chanting the names of Krishna, right? Chanting the names of God. So Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. Sambandha is my relationship with God. Abhideya is the process to revive that relationship. And then the question could be asked, I can take this relationship to what level? That is Prayojana. The highest that I can go in my relationship with God. Right? And this relationship with God, right? Earlier, even in the Vedas, right? It is only given till dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Beyond moksha, even Vedas do not give. Not qualified. Let them just understand liberation. You are conditioned and get liberated. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. This is called purushartha. Purusha, the soul, artha for you is this much. Dharma, artha, kama, go beyond and go to moksha. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us the Pancham Purushartha. Even Pancham Purushartha means Prema Pumartho Mahan. What is the artha for us? What is of value for the soul to attain that relationship of God where we get situated in a relationship of love. And this relationship with love, this rasa that we can experience in relationship to God is at 5 levels. Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Right? I, I have 5 more minutes. Okay. I didn't go to the real stuff. I got carried away. Okay. So now this verse is saying the devotees who worship you as the shelter of all beings disregard death. What does it mean? That devotees don't die. Devotees also experience death. Everyone has to experience death. Right? Like Prabhupada, when he was in Vrindavan, when in his last days, Prabhupada made a comment, only bones and skin remaining. Can you imagine what must be Prabhupada's condition, the condition of his body? Only bones and skin remaining. And one devotee was looking at Prabhupada. Wow, Prabhupada is a pure devotee. And he's going through this much. And Prabhupada made a comment, don't think this will not happen to you. Everyone will have to go through. Right? So this body, even devotees will experience death. What does it mean that the devotees disregard death? Even in the 4th canto, Dhruva Maharaj section, you'll find it comes, Dhruva Maharaj stepped on the head of the death personified and boarded the Vaikuntha plane. What does it mean? Right? The devotees going beyond death is not just liberation. Devotees, when they go beyond death, they experience the shelter. They go to the Vaikuntha planets. They go as per their aspirations and their sambandha. They will go and they will go back to that eternal kingdom of God, to once again be situated in the relationship with God. So placing their feet on his head. But with the words of the Vedas, and there are those who keep on arguing about Purushartha. So I was giving the example of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to you before. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Lord Chaitanya met him. He thought, oh, Krishna Chaitanya, he has taken sannyas in Bharati Sampradaya, low Sampradaya. Even among sannyasis, there are 10 Sampradayas that Srila Prabhupada recounts in his purport. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, that's a low Sampradaya. I will take him to a higher level. Right? And he said he is very young, he has accepted sannyas, very risky at such an age, 24, and he's so beautiful. Right? He will not be able to maintain his sannyas. Ask him to come and sit with me. I will help him understand Vedanta. When he understands Vedas, then he will develop detachment from this world and will be able to maintain his sannyas. 7 days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat in front of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya kept on explaining on the Vedanta. And after that, after 7 days, the teacher asked the question, not the student. The teacher asked the question. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sannyasi, I have been speaking for 7 days. You have not asked even one question. Have you understood what I am trying to explain? And Lord Chaitanya said, I understand Vedanta. Vedanta is like the sun, right? The Surya, like the sun. But your explanation is like the clouds, right? Which is covering the sun. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could not have it. What? Young fellow, you understand whom you are talking to? I am Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Lord Chaitanya said, what you are doing is aparokshavad. Right? Parokshavad. Right? You are giving the indirect meaning. Why are you taking the indirect meaning? Why don't you give the direct meaning? Why do you give the meaning that you would like to give? Why not hear from Vyasadeva if you have to? Right? And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took one verse, the Atmaram verse. Right? Sorry. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave one verse, Atmaram verse. Can you give explanation on this verse, the Atmaramascha Muniyo Nirgrantha api urukrame Kuruvanti ahetungi bhaktim ittham bhuto guno hari. The verse from the Bhagavatam, the Atmaram verse. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sitting right there in front of Mahaprabhu gave 8 meanings to it. 8 different meanings to it. So those of you who have read the Bhagavatam, the first canto, first chapter, first verse of Bhagavatam, Bhaktisan Thakur one time spoke for a 1 month on it. And when Bhaktisan Thakur would give class, his classes would be minimum 4 to 5 hours. It was normal for him to give class. And he would talk so much that one time his pitta increased in the body. And when doctor was called, and the doctor checked his pulse and said, the reason for your ill health is that you are talking a lot, you are giving long classes. You should give half an hour class, not much. And Bhaktisan Thakur told him, what is the use of my living if I cannot do Hari Katha? You are asking me not to give class. And after that, he spoke for 2 hours to the doctor. Why should he be doing Hari Katha? So, to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave 8 meanings of Atmaram verse. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now you speak. And Mahaprabhu gave 16 meanings without touching any of the meanings that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had given. And after listening to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a jnani. He understood. It takes one to know one. Right? He said, you are none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? So, the Vedas, those who are others who will go to the Vedas and try to understand the meaning of life, but this verse, the Vedas are only saying, you hold them by the noose of the Vedas. What does it mean? Like in America, they will write everywhere. Right? We are the citizens of a free country, something like that. The land of the free and the brave. You know, land of the free and the brave. I read one time behind a car somebody had written, the land of the free because of the brave. So the citizens in this country can claim, oh, we are free citizens of a free country. Are we sure? Or the constitution is binding us? There are laws. You may say I am free, but there are laws that keep us bound. Like I was one time driving in California, someplace devotees took me on that. I was telling him also on that road, if you overtake on that street, the fine is right written on the road. So many placards they have put. And you know what is the fine? $3,500 if you overtake. Can anybody say I'm free? Try. You're not free. There are laws. Similarly, everyone else, apart from devotees, who clearly take shelter of Krishna, surrender to Krishna, you know, they will, as if they will disregard death and place their feet on his the on his head. But that means death personified. But others who are bewildered by the words of the Vedas, what happens to them? They are like animals, though they may be vastly learned scholars. Another place, Shukdev Goswami gives the example of just like a bull, there's a noose that's tightened. Right? Everyone is bound by the laws of the Vedas. The devotees, by surrendering to Krishna, go beyond this. This is what was told to Arjuna. Nistre Gunyo Bhava Arjuna. You take shelter of me and go beyond these Vedic instructions. Your affectionate devotees, they purify themselves and others, and not those who are inimical to you. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Itai Gaur Premanande. Now we could take. Actually, you can only understand Krishna by devotion. That part we could not take from the purport.
The question, Prabhu, like Shiva mentioned in the earlier, like we are the like souls that are landed in Kali Yuga after filtration of so much mercy and landed
Backbenchers.
backbenchers. So question comes here that we also heard in the scriptures like Bhagavatam, even devatas take the birth in the Kali Yuga to get the
They
Mahaprabhu.
aspire.
They
aspire.
aspire to take mercy, like take birth in the Kali Yuga so that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu they can join the movement. So how do we understand
Yeah.
this?
So the Devatas aspire, Vrindavan Das Thakur says this, Devatas aspire to take birth because in minimum time, with minimum qualification, you can attain what was never ever given before. Right? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give this. Right? And that's what they aspire for. Why Devatas want to aspire to take birth here? First of all, the Devatas in the fifth canto you find, they pray that, oh, the the birth in Bharata Bhumi is very special. The birth in Martya Loka, because this is the only. So if you take the Brahmanda, the entire universe, let us consider the universe like an apple, and you cut the apple in 14 layers, right? That's how Brahmanda and the planetary systems are there. The upper part, the middle, and the lower. The middle portion is the Martya Loka where death is experienced, right? The the upper planets, there is no death. Um, One Purana explains it that those who reach the Swargaloka, what happens to them? Kshine punne martya lokam vishanti. Bhagavata Krishna says, when punya kshina, then they will come to martya loka. So after doing lot of punya, they go to Swarga and they are giving a garland. And that garland is, it starts wilting with each day. The flowers, right, they go. And once it dries up completely, boom, they are as if, kind of gone from Swargaloka. And then they take birth in Martyaloka. Then what happens with Swargaloka? Very difficult to do bhakti there. Very difficult. Because bhog aishwarya prasaktanam, lot of bhoga, lot of aishwarya. You, why do I need God? I have everything. Everything is going my way. I don't need God. And those who are born in a suffering, dukkha, misery, for them, where is God? Let me first, let me work hard to make the two ends meet. So the Devatas want to take birth here because there's a constantly a sword hanging. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Right? But our problem is, now one will say, but why are these guys not coming to temple and why are they not doing devotional service? Vishwanath Thakur, in his purport to the verse, uh, Narkasto api deham vai na pumam tyaktum ichchati. Bhagavatam, he says, even if they are in Naraka and they are in the hellish planet, and the soul with the subtle body is being whipped, right? Is being whipped. There's a punishment going on. Between the two whips, whatever few seconds are there, micro milliseconds, whatever are there, in between the conditioned soul thinks, can I have sex pleasure? The desire to enjoy. Imagine the desire, the power of love that that love that is there between us and Krishna. That love has got transformed into lust here in this world. Right? We all have used milk, but if milk turns into curd, can the curd once again become milk? It cannot. It is transformed. So the love has turned into lust. Now this lust, even after Krishna has kept in us world, has created a world for us where Janma, Mrityu, Jara, birth, old age, disease, death. You tell people in the initial seminars, we tell them this world is dukkhalayam, and they feel this preacher must be in dukkha. This guy is in misery and suffering. That's why he's telling us, where is misery? We just came to temple. We left India and came to America to be happy. After coming to America, you're telling us this is world is a place of misery. Very few people can understand it. Because the desire to enjoy, separate from, become enjoyer, to become God is so strong. The Devatas understand impossible to become a devotee there. Come to this world, and especially when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come, in very less time, very quickly, without much qualification, one can attain the highest just by the process of chanting Hare Krishna. I'm sorry I could not do justice to the entire purport. You could just take one paragraph. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.